This is Samsung's budget entry smartphone, the Galaxy A16 LTE. Now, on the outside, the phone looks pretty simple, not much design. So we do have the classic color gray. And yes, this is not a smudge resistant free back cover. Although with its soft round edges on the side, it makes holding the phone very comfortable. Now on the inside of the phone, we do have the MediaTek Helio G99 chipset with 4 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabytes of internal storage, plus 5000 mAh battery capacity with 50 megapixel main camera, and a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display. Now, all of this is super interesting to see, especially on a budget entry smartphone. Question is, will it work? Will the phone run smoothly with only having 4 gigs of RAM? How long will the battery last? Can we count on the performance of the MediaTek Helio G99 chipset when it comes to the gaming aspect? Now, to test the phone, I did swap up my SIM card for a couple of days using only this phone as my daily driver. And yes, there was a little bit of getting used to it, because the Galaxy A16 LTE also has this much thicker bezels. And speaking of bezels, so the screen is a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display with 1080 by 2340 resolution. So let's say I'm coming from a 720p resolution screen to the Galaxy A16 LTE. This makes it a much nicer upgrade and has a lot clearer, more sharp detail, especially those smaller details that we couldn't see on a less clear screen. Now, the 1080p also provides us with a much more immersive viewing experience. And yes, especially when we're binge watching some series or a show. Now, when it comes to the scrolling or the multitasking, so yes, the phone only has 4 gigs of RAM. So this is not really a fast phone or even a snappy one, even a quick phone. So this is more of a relaxed version. And yes, it's a little bit slow when we're like switching from one app to another. Although we could do a lot of multitasking on this thing. We can do like 3 to 4 windows opening at the same time and they would work pretty well. And yes, thanks to that 90 Hz, the 90 Hz makes browsing with a lot more text to be a lot smoother and a lot nicer compared to just having that 60 Hz. Now, when it comes to the gaming side, so we have the MediaTek Helio G99 chipset. So yes, we've tried this on Honor of Kings with low to mid quality settings, playing Plants vs. Zombies. So we also have Asphalt. And yes, they have pretty nice graphics compared to a previous versions of phone, especially much sharper detail, so smoother transition, not much lag as well. Now, when it comes to the camera, so for the camera portion, we took the shots in a super bright and super sunny day. So we have 50 megapixel main camera and also a selection of 12 megapixel shot. So if we compare the two shots, they actually look both similar with very good color accuracy, and just that the 50 megapixel has much finer detail in some aspects since it has a much higher resolution. So we could see that the water has much more finer detail compared to the 12 megapixel lens. So when it comes to the macro shot, so we have the 5 megapixel ultra wide lens that offers us a different kind of perspective. Although we could see on the side that it has a little bit of that barrel distortion, or seems like that it's a little bit stretched. And yes, if we zoom in on the 5 megapixel ultra wide shot, the details will be a lot more blurry and has a lot more noise. So the phone can also capture Full HD at 30 FPS. So that is 1080 by 1920 resolution. So it is a very high resolution, except that we don't have any OIS or any stabilization for the video. So the video will definitely feel jittery and shaky, and there will be a lot of camera movements during the course of the video. But yes, the audio is clear and the color of the video itself is very rich and just natural in color. Now if we took some 13 megapixel shot, we could see that there is some blurry effects on the background and focuses more on the person or the face itself. So when we check the face, when we zoom in on the details of the face, we could see that it is a little bit soft when it comes to that facial detail, and also a bit grainy. Now when it comes to the hair portion, well, the hair strands have much finer detail, although it is a little bit blurred. Now the color of the skin, I think, is just the right amount of naturalness. So we also took some macro shot. So the macro shot is a 2 megapixel macro shot. So we've used a 20 peso coin here. So the 20 peso coin is definitely small. So if we take a look from the human eye, so the design, we could not really see the details of the design. We could just see some sketches that were written on the coin. So with the 2 megapixel macro shot, we took some side, front, and back shot of the coin. And from the side, we have that we took a photo of the dark patches on the side of the coin. And if we zoom in on the macro shot, we can see that there is the BSP logo that is embedded on the coin. So yes, it is super small. And yes, the side of the coin is also somewhat blurry. And for the front, we could see that, I think this is year 2020 when it is made. Although we could not read any more of that scriptings. And yes, we have to 1 to 2 inch away from capturing or focus more on the coin's detail. So for the battery of the phone, so the battery lasts about 8 to 10 hours of usage. So we talk about the pros. Now let's talk about some cons of the phone. So there is this, so we have 800 nits of peak brightness, and yes, this is enough for indoors. Now when it comes to outside, like taking some shots, taking a video, or playing some games, so this is AMOLED display. So the AMOLED display is somewhat reflective. It sometimes has a rainbow reflection, and the screen, we can't really see any of the screen. So even at max brightness, it's hardly, or it's we could barely see anything on the screen since it became super dim and super reflective. Now, when it comes to the Wi-Fi signal of the phone, so for the Wi-Fi signal, we have to be with the Wi-Fi, the room with the Wi-Fi or with the modem itself, just to have a very stable connection. So we saw this with playing like Honor of Kings, Mobile Legend, that sometimes the Wi-Fi signals when we go to a farther room, it spikes from time to time. It becomes more unstable. Okay, so for the graphics side, the MediaTek Helio G99 is a good low to mid processor. But yes, there is also some cons with the processor, and that for the heavy graphic games like Plants vs. Zombies. So for the Plants vs. Zombies, we could notice that when there are a lot of stuff, a lot of things that, or a lot of zombies that needs to be rendered, or a lot of plants, it's having a difficult time and it's lagging the whole time that we're gonna play the game. Yes, it's lagging, it's slow, and will definitely feel the lag. Now for the asphalt, yes, there is also some parts where the graphics just stuck. It got stuck and sometimes lagged for a few seconds. Then it goes back to natural. So, yes, it's not a perfect one. Yes, it is a basic phone at the price of 6,200 pesos.